Greetings from Colorado. It's Adam Soppy with the Healthcare Initiative. Hope all is well. Go Team USA. I always enjoy my discussions with hospitals about recruiting strategies, and one of the first questions that usually comes up is some variation of, hey, what are our options? What can we do? What type of search agreements do you work with? Contingency, as you probably are aware, is the most common, so I'd like to this week take a closer look at that. Discuss the pros and cons, and just starting out with, I don't believe there's one surefire one-size-fits-all recruiting strategy that works best or most effectively, and I'm not saying that contingent is most effective or least effective for all scenarios across the board. So I just want to really take a closer look. What comes up most frequently, at least up front, is, hey, if I have 4 or 5 recruiters working on my OB nurse manager, doesn't that increase my odds of finding the right candidate? Yeah, common sense would tell us yes. When I ask hospitals for feedback, specifically on contingent searches, they usually tell me some variation of, hey, it worked out great at the first couple weeks, we got a bunch of resumes, and then after that the recruiters kind of went dark. I wasn't getting any more candidates. When I'd call or email, they wouldn't respond. And then of the resumes, a lot of them were duplicates. We had to sort through them and figure out which search firm presented them first. And then a higher than normal percentage would look good on paper, and then when we got in the conversation, say, oh, a year ago I was promoted to VP of Periop. I would have no interest in your Director of Surgical Services opportunity. Or, yeah, it looks like a great opportunity, however, I'm in Los Angeles, my family's in Los Angeles, and I'm not receptive to relocating to Little Rock, Arkansas, or Wichita, Kansas, whatever that might look like. When hospitals ask me why that happens, the answer is simple. One is it's not a shared risk model, so the onus is on the recruiter, and therefore we're rewarded for speed. Really, the recruiter that gets the candidate in first gets credit. Unfortunately, as you probably are aware, different recruiters work on different moral compasses, and a lot of times the candidate's not even vetted out, or even, a lot of times you'll speak with a candidate that's never even talked to a recruiter. They simply want to get resumes in before anyone else. The reason why the abundance or submittals of candidates slows down is we have to make a business decision on how much time we're going to invest in this search, whether it's half of an afternoon or 2 days or a week. If if each search or each recruiter knows that they're one of 5 recruiters working on the search, that's about a 20% chance of making the placement. Then when you factor in the possibility that the position would remain open indefinitely, or filled internally, then the odds go down even more. Another concern that I hear is we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket with the search firm that might ultimately not deliver. That makes a lot of sense. That's a big concern, and for good reason. What I would say is, whether you're using contingency model or an exclusive or retained model, figure out which criteria you're going to use to determine who to work with. Hey, in addition to price, how long have you been specializing in nursing leadership? How many years have you done this? How many years has your company been around? How many placements do you make per year? Really get an idea of who you'd be working with. Another concern I hear is we have somebody pretty strong internally. We don't know if they're the strongest. We'd hate to pay a $30,000 fee and find out we can just promote from within. That's probably the most valid reason that I can think of, and I wouldn't want to pay that either. In that scenario, I would just advise, be honest with the recruiter and say, hey, this is a low priority, and here's why. We have a pretty strong gal. She's going to be retiring in the next 18 months or 2 years, so if we found a superstar out there that we felt might be around for 5 or 10 years, we'd probably hire them. But truthfully, we're not in need of somebody. We're not in need of making a placement in the next 90 days. The reason I advise that, one, recruiters are people too. We have families, we have lives outside of the office. We don't want to work all weekend on a search that's ultimately probably not even real. And then also, if you get the reputation that you're not going to hire candidates presented by a search firm, ultimately over the years you'll have fewer recruiters that are willing to work with you. I just wanted to start the conversation, the dialogue today. I'd love to hear your feedback. Please email me at adam.soppy@thehealthcareinitiative, or give me a call at the office at 303-799-8188, and my extension is 118. And I'd love to hear follow-up questions or concerns, and then next week we'll take a closer look at the retained or shared risk model. Have a great afternoon.